Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yes. 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 It's Friday night. Oh man. Friday night. We get to sit here. We get to talk football. I'm going over everything. I am posting to you live from Facebook. I am live on YouTube and I am live on Twitch. Man, I cannot tell you how happy and excited I am to talk football. I'm going to break down every single game. I'm going to give you my opinion. If you watched Wednesday's show, my guest, Big Chief Sean, told everybody here that OBJ was going to LA and be a Ram. He said it. He called it. The next day it happened. I disagreed with him. I did not think it would happen, but I give a lot of props to Big Chief Sean. And if I'm lucky, he will join me Wednesday. So it's going to be a great show. Before I get going and I break down every single game, unrelated to sports into the NFL, I want to wish my friend Candy happy birthday. A fantastic name for a girl and even a better person. It is her birthday. Hopefully she is doing shots somewhere. So Candy, happy birthday from everybody at the Dan Show. Hopefully you are having an awesome time. Oh man, great weekend of football. A ton of great games. If you did not check it out on the description, I got it below. I was substituting for the Blitz Predicts, and I did a video. He has a weekly video he puts out with his favorite game of the week, and I did the video for him. Please check it out. I'm pretty proud of myself. It was a pretty good job, considering I had to do it after Thursday night football. So it's not something I had to do a lot of prep. I didn't have a lot of prep for, but man, I thought it was a pretty good video. So it's kind of cool getting asked to sub in on a different channel. He seemed to like it. So very, very happy. Funk, what is up, man? Funk, you agreed. You thought that Sean was right, man. You thought OBJ was going to the Rams. I didn't see it. I really thought the Patriots made the most sense, and it didn't happen. In the Rams, it's going to be very entertaining. Mike, I am very glad you are here, man. I will admit I haven't watched a lot of the Dolphins. Has Holland looked that good all year? For those of you that don't know, Javon Holland did like a honey badger impression. He looks like a 6 foot, 210-pound version of the honey badger. Forget rookie safety. He played like an all-pro safety. I mean, I loved his game coming out of Oregon. I really thought that if you put him on a cover 3 or a Tampa 2 type of system, he has the athleticism to play corner. He doesn't have the athleticism to play man press corner. But if the Dolphins played that type of defense all year, they would be a Super Bowl team. Mike, you got to tell me, has Holland played that good all year? Because that is a Pro Bowl safety. He was everywhere. He looked like the honey badger, except about 4 or 5 inches and 40 pounds heavier. But I mean, he was phenomenal. We were talking about who's the best safety in football, and I think Holland now enters that conversation. I mean, he's that good, and I loved his game. He should have been a first round pick. Why he wasn't? I think it had to do with him sitting out. But Wow. Alex, time to party. Yes, it is time to party, man. We are when the draft comes out, we're going to do a lot of talk about the Houston Texans, a lot of talk. And that's my neighbors that you're hearing above. They are awful people. But yes, time to party, man. It is time to party. And no disrespect to my Lions fans, but Thibodeau in Houston, oh God! And this is a good draft for defensive ends. So when the draft comes around, Houston's going to be a team that we're talking about quite a bit. OBJ is an LA guy, definitely an LA guy. Yeah, definitely an LA guy. He's been good, but yeah, I knew he was going to be a good player. I knew he was going to get a chance to start, but I didn't know he was that good. I mean, that is one of the best performances by a safety. I mean, the guy does everything. I mean, just phenomenal. Okay. So I mean, it's a breakout game because that's not a good rookie. That's a Pro Bowl safety, man. That's we were talking about the best safeties in football, and we all had a different opinion. But Holland, after that game, enters the conversation. When the NFL does the top 100 players, normally players from bad teams normally don't make that top 100 list, but I think Holland may make the list. I mean, wow. I mean, phenomenal player. We called it on the OBJ. Now we'll see an Antonio Brown type situation or the Rams win it all. The NFC is very, very interesting because they have to go on the road, or if they do win the if they've been, or if they win the West, they won't have to go on the road. They can fight for the 1 seed. But that whole NFC West is phenomenal. Cardinals actually have a 2-game lead in the division, and they play the Rams in a couple weeks. That's going to be a lot of fun. But if the Rams have to go on the road in the playoffs, that's going to be a lot of fun. If they get the 1 seed, then, I mean, they already beat Tampa Bay earlier in the year. So, I mean, the NFC is going to be a lot of fun. I mean, it's kind of funny because you talk about the Rams, talk about the Cardinals, you talk about Tampa Bay, but then there's, Dallas and Green Bay with 2 losses that we're just throwing away, but they're going to host playoff games and have a good chance to advance. So, man, it's going to be this is just a great football season. I mean, doesn't matter who you're a fan of, you have to appreciate this football season. And then as a Houston Texans fan, you got to appreciate it. But you're in a dogfight with Detroit. But I think it's the Thibodeau sweepstakes. Unless he rapes somebody or punches a baby, he is going to be the number 1 pick in the draft. And we're going to do a lot of draft content here. For those of you who watched Wednesday's show, Corey, the Red Sea's already doing mock drafts. So, yeah. I like Colin coming. I like Colin. Yeah, he's the kid from Oregon. Yes. He's kind of what you're looking for. What it is that there's like some booming noises, like they're throwing bowling balls on the ground. Yeah, it's terrible. Yes. He would have been a perfect safety. I actually think that after the season's over, we don't have the money as a Chiefs fan to retain the Honey Badger. I think he is going to Detroit. I think Detroit will pay an arm and a leg for him. He'll be signed early in free agency if the Chiefs can't extend him. And I don't know how they extend him. They just don't have the money. So, yeah. Dan, if there's one team in college you should look after, it should be U of H, ranked 17th. They're on an 8-game winning streak after joining the Big 12, 8-1 on the season. Yeah, I actually know that they last week they won against, I think it was SMU. SMU was ranked, and after winning that game, it was a back and forth game. Now they're ranked. As a matter of fact, Prop It Up. I didn't listen to the whole show because now they do props for NHL and basketball. I only care about football. They talked about this game because I think they played Temple this week. They play a school that they should beat by about 40. And they were saying what you want to do is bet on whoever they're playing against. I want to say it's Temple. You want to bet on the under because Houston's trying to get victory points. But yeah, when they join the Big 12, I'm going to be paying quite a bit of attention to University of Houston. They are, I had a soft spot for Houston back in the 80s when Andre Ware won the Heisman. I started paying attention to him. They had John Jenkins, kind of the innovative coach to the run and shoot, and they beat SMU. I'm not exaggerating on this, 95-21. Of course, SMU just came back from the death penalty, and They were a very entertaining team to watch, and they went on sanctions. They had all sorts of issues, and then now they've been coming back and building back up. I don't know if Dana Holgerson, he was from West Virginia. He left West Virginia to go to Houston. I don't know if he's still there or not. I think he's gone. I think somebody else is there. But I will be paying a lot of attention to the University of Houston. I know very little about them right now. Other than that, I know they beat SMU last week, which I think was ranked. And that I was kind of thinking that American Conference was going to be a lot of fun. So, yeah. One Pride 40, what's up, brother? The Michigan State Wolverines play Maryland. Is that right? Your boy needs about 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. Dan, the Texans can have Thibodeau. See message above. And remember, I wanted Simmons to play strong safety. Yes. Well, I think Thibodeau is going to be the number 1 pick in the draft. Whether the Lions pick him or whether the Lions pick him up or whether the Texans have him. It's just that all things being equal, let's say the Houston Texans keeps their coaching staff intact, Coley as head coach and Lovie Smith as the defensive coordinator. Thibodeau is a perfect fit for that Tampa 2 defense. He'll step in and be a massive impact player almost instantly. I think he'll have a massive impact. And then you have Ross Blacklock on that defensive line. And then they'll probably add a player or 2 just on that defensive line if they keep everything the same. With the second pick in the draft, I'm not really sure what they would do. I don't know if Hutchinson is the player that would be number 2. I don't know if they would go to your boy Hamilton. But yeah, I know you wanted Simmons to play strong safety. I remember that. And I thought that the way he's being used at Arizona would be a perfect fit for Detroit. And that's kind of what I thought that they were going to do. And they ended up not doing that. And of course, Patricia's no longer there. Never trust an Oregon QB. That's very true. The last good Oregon quarterback, I remember correctly. Oh God, do we have to go all the way back to Dan Fouts? Is that correct? Are we going all the way back to Fouts? Dan Fouts, one of my all-time favorite players. The Lions pick first, it'll be Kavion. Big pick later, it's Hamilton easily. Not so sure, because if they pick 3rd, 4th, or 5th, Hamilton may be gone. And if that's the case, you'll have to figure out what to do. But yeah, I think Hamilton would definitely be the pick. If they pick number 2, I think it's Hamilton, all things being equal. I think that would be a good fit for the Lions. Justin Herbert would like a word. Yeah, I've already I dropped the ball there, but history. Yeah. If they still signed the Badger and they don't have no one picked, they're taking Hamilton. I think they take Hamilton anyway. I think Hamilton and Honey Badger give them a nice duo. And since that's a weakness, that would be a really, really, really good fit. I think they could take the Honey Badger and they could also take Hamilton. Why not have them both? That to me makes a lot of sense. And the reason why is that the Honey Badger does a variety of different things. So is Hamilton, but they do different things. So I kind of like them together. I'm telling you this right now. I'm calling my shot. I think the Honey Badger signs with Detroit, and I think you guys pay a Brinks truck amount to get them there. Detroit ain't paying anyone this offseason. Watch, we will. We have $30 million and $43 million in cap space. Pride, I've been saying for like 2 months now, how about Thibodeau will be the guy if available? Yes, you've been saying that. I've been saying it too. So, Temple, they should win. Keyword should. In recent years, they love to get on a roll, lose to terribly bad teams. Well, here's the deal. Temple's best player has already entered the transfer portal. Several other players are probably going to do the same thing. I think the coach is in jeopardy. Bottom line, Prop It Up was talking about this is a game that you want to bet on Temple to go under. But yeah, I would be shocked if University of Houston doesn't try to run up the score to get a better ranking. And that would actually be good for the Big 12 because when the 2 top teams leaving, bringing in Houston as a ranked team That's really important. So 43 million, only like 10 guys on the roster. I know you do. And he might actually be a better player. You don't know, but yeah. Yeah, didn't I say Maryland? I meant Maryland. I'm pretty sure I said Maryland, and he needs to have about 200 yards and 3 touchdowns to stay on top of that. He huge game against Tua's brother. Tua's brother's quarterback there at Maryland. So I'm going to try to watch it. I watch the high. I want to try to watch the highlights. They played SMU, which got them the rank, and went on to win against South Florida in a close back and forth game. Okay. I would be paying attention to them, though. Once they hit the Big 12, I'll pay a lot of attention to them. Red Sea, what is up, brother? Big Chief Sean, better hope I don't find out his address. He's somewhere close to me. I have no idea. Me and him are going to get together. By the way, Corey, I think he's going to be joining us Wednesday, so you can tell him the same thing. We did the same exact thing when we drafted Hawk. Talking about a multifaceted type player or overdraft. I'm not sure what you mean. If you mean overdraft, I mean, yeah, he kind of sort of overdrafted, but I liked Hawk too. I didn't see a problem taking Hawk at, I think it was 9. If you take Hamilton at 2, I could see that. But if you have number 1 pick, you're taking Thibodeau. Red Sea, I see you know better than to come looking for me for saying it too. Yeah, we had a bunch of people say that. I did not see it. Come on, Dan, try to say Tua's brother's first name. I can't remember I can't say his last name or his first name. It's kind of funny because, here's a big name quarterback and he goes to it's a Big 10 school, but it's a, relatively small school, sort of speaking, University of Maryland. But no, it's going to be a fun game, man. It's going to be a fun game. I don't have it currently DVR'd. I may or may not DVR it, but I definitely will check out the highlights, and I'm just definitely going to follow up on the rushing yards because I think anything that's under 200 could drop him down into the Heisman race. So. No, yeah, and Walker still had a pretty good game with 146 and 2. Yes, he did. That's not a Heisman-worthy game. Not against a team like Purdue. And Purdue's a good football team, but they're not a ranked team. They may be ranked now, but that's not really a good enough game. He also had a costly fumble that resulted in Purdue going up. So, yeah. Against a team like Maryland, he's got to do a lot better than 146 and 2. He just does. I want Coley gone as Houston head coach next year. He had 0 play calling experience and hasn't brought that stability he needed. I thought he was a careful transition pickup, but he's failed at that. Coley, I can make sense. If you keep Lovie Smith as a defensive coordinator, then you're in really good shape. I don't know if you'd want Lovie to transition to the head coach or not, but if you do keep the Tampa 2 defense, Thibodeau fits like a glove. That's like a perfect player, perfect scheme, perfect coordinator. Going forward, there's going to be some interest in head coaching candidates. You could have a variety of different things. You could go from the college ranks as Lincoln Riley. Want to compete at the SEC level? Does he want to try the NFL out? Mel Tucker, the Michigan State coach, does he want to give the NFL a shot? I haven't heard his name thrown into the ranks, but there's possibility we could have that happening. I'm trying to think of other college coaches that may be interested. Those are just 2 I just threw out there. Eric Bieniemy, the Chiefs offensive coordinator, may be interested in that position. Dennis Allen, defensive coordinator for the Saints, I think is an excellent candidate. Both coordinators from Tampa Bay. Let me throw a name out there that you may not like, but I think he's a candidate and may get interviewed. Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett, somebody who will get an interview, maybe not from Houston, but there's going to be an NFL team that wants to give him a shout out. So, look, when you're in competition for number one pick and you don't have a extensive background or experience like Coley has, you're definitely on the hot seat. That's going to be interesting to tell you the truth. It's going to be very interesting to find out what Houston's going to do, what Detroit's going to do with their coaching decisions for next year. I got a feeling both teams may just go ahead and stay and say, "Hey, look, we'll give you a shot for one more year," but we'll find out. Yeah, I watched the game. Yeah. You had to start throwing the ball, and you played tough. I was pulling for you guys. It just didn't happen. Hawk wasn't an overdraft at 8. Guy's a beast. That's debatable. A guy went on Luke G's show, and I forget who it was, but he said, "You never draft a tight end in top 10 picks." And Luke did a cool thing. It was like a debate. And I'm like, does this guy know what he's talking about? I mean, he clearly lost. And yeah, you do take a tight end in the top 10. Some people thought Fant was the better tight end. I thought Hawkinson was. You can argue 7 or I can't remember if it was 7, 8, or 9. Let's just say 8. Let's just say you're right. You could argue that it was a reach at 8, but different people would tell you different things. I like the pick. I didn't call it. I had the Lions taking an offensive lineman, if I remember right. But there's a difference. Okay, by the way, there's a huge difference for saying he's worth it and that he's overdrafted. You don't let's just say Hawkinson was the 3rd pick in the draft. All right. And he's a Pro Bowl tight end for the next several years. It's still an overdraft. Am I making sense here? I feel like I'm not really making sense, but bottom line, you have what's called a good draft value, and then you have a good player. If you draft a running back in the top 15 and for the next 3 years he runs for 1,100 yards, that's not really good draft value, even though he's a good player. Am I making sense or not? But you can argue that's not a fact one way or another. I think it's a solid pick. I think he's a great player. When we drafted Hawk, we signed Jesse James. I didn't remember that. I don't remember that, but I hope KC doesn't add anyone new on defense. No, they're not. What they're doing is Melvin Ingram on third down situations gives Ingram and Clark on the outside, and it allows Chris Jones on the inside. We have a couple defensive tackles that we're kind of hoping gets things started, but it really, in the Steve Spagnuolo Chiefs defense, it all starts up front. So adding a guy like Melvin Ingram on the defensive line was a genius move. And he also helped out quite a bit. If you watch the Chiefs over the last 2 weeks, the defensive line's really come to life. And in 2019, after the Chiefs lost to the Titans, they went undefeated and won a Super Bowl. So losing to the Titans isn't a bad thing. If you watched my video for when I stepped in for the Blitz Predicts, you have an idea of what I'm thinking the Chiefs are going to do this weekend on Sunday Night Football. Oh, Pride, you're implying the double dip at the okay. I get what you're saying. Still not. There's nothing wrong with double dipping, and I think I could see the Lions doing that with safety. Need a new head coach here. The majority of the coaching staff is good, but I also want Lovey gone. His play calling is just too predictable. Everyone can read his calls. It's just not good enough anymore. Well, the problem is, okay. The Tampa 2 defense is designed to be predictable. You know exactly what you're getting. It's just, can you stop it? Because it's supposed to be played at such a fast speed that you really can't stop it. For example, the 15-yard out. Against the Tampa 2 defense, you can defend against a 15-yard out. It's designed to protect you against the 15-yard out. Like a flag route. Those are deep flag routes are also You can defend about that. I actually did a video breaking down the Tampa 2 defense on a whiteboard, and I could break it down at its like purest standard form and show you exactly how to beat it. It's a very simple premise, is that your front four goes against an offensive line, and the front four has to win. That's basically the simplest form. And then the back seven all has to get to pre-designed assignments. It's extremely predictable. The Tampa 2 defense, you know what you're doing. It's by defensive standards, the easiest defense to coach in the NFL. And that's why I liked it for a team that's in transition, because your players don't have to think. They just go, and they go at a very fast pace. That's why if you have the Tampa 2 defense, the only way it works is you have to have tons and tons of speed everywhere. Well, actually, the corners is the only place, because you play kind of a zone press man corner. You know, you're not asking your corners to do much except play in the zone. So you can have smaller, slower, or bigger, slower players at corner, but your linebackers, you can have guys that are basically safety sized, going to the zones and playing that way. Houston doesn't really have that, but with a guy like Thibodeau into that defense, it would just be phenomenal. I'm telling you right now, Thibodeau into that defense would completely change the way the defense looks. Partly because it would just be a great fit. If he goes to Detroit and they try to play him like an outside linebacker, 5 tech, it's not going to be the same. You want the same type of impact. So, but I could see Houston cleaning house. I could see Houston cleaning house. I could see Houston's, especially if they go 1-16 and they get the number 1 pick in the draft. I could see them saying, "Hey, look, we need a guy with a lot of experience here," or, "Hey, look, let's pick from the Andy Reid coaching tree," which also makes a lot of sense. So, yeah, because we signed a Badger, he gives us wrong. Well, the thing is that what you would do is, if you signed the Badger and you signed Hamilton, you could call them strong safety and free safety, but they're really positionless players. And you would ask both of them to do a variety of different things. You would have like 2 chess pieces on that defense, and you would have kind of a multifaceted defense. You know, one play would be like cover 2, next play would be single high, and then it could be single high with Hamilton. It could be single high with the Badger, because I think Hamilton has a skill set very much like the Badger, where you can put him at the at the linebacker position, have him blitz. You could have him cover a tight end, back out of backfield, slot receiver. It's a little different than Honey Badger. I mean, Honey Badger can cover receivers. I don't know if I'd want Hamilton doing that. Yes, he does that in college. It's a lot different to cover a college receiver than as an NFL receiver. But the thing is, though, is like those players may be labeled as strong safety, but neither one of them would have. Both of them would be like positionless players. It'd be a lot of fun to watch. So if you do sign the Honey Badger and you get Hamilton, they'll call ESPN or the NFL Network will call the Honey Badger or Hamilton a strong safety, but really they're just players. You're just putting them out and you're asking them to do different things at different times. It'll be a lot of fun. So, amazement. What's up, brother? Okay, Dan, last week was terrible. The books won that week. Here's the pick. All right, let me, you know what? I have not gone through any of my picks yet. So I'm going to put all these down. And as I go over, I will give your prediction, and I'll give you mine. So you got over 54 Dallas and Atlanta. Bucks wash over 54. Got some big numbers here. Titans -3 and Rams -4. And if you take a look at the description page, you'll see a video I did for the Blitz Predicts. We may have one of those. Alex wants him gone, and Dan's like, "How about the head coach?" I kind of think that he should get another shot. I think he should stay another year, but we'll see. Honestly, I'd rather have Lovey as the head coach with a new DC. His calls aren't that great. Lovey doesn't disguise any of his plays. Need better calling. Yeah, maybe. I couldn't. I'm going to take your word for it. I just tell you that if you're Lovie Smith, you're running Tampa 2, there is no disguise. You run to Tampa 2. So amazement. Vegas had to be mad that none of their fixes. Seeing what Vance has done with Arizona defense over the last 3 years, he's almost guaranteed an offer. Yes, he is. I thought he had kind of a bad deal with Denver. So, yeah, I definitely could see him getting an offer. One thing about Vance is that he does have some college experience. I know USC, I forget who it is off the top of my head. I know USC, I think, signed somebody. I'm not 100% sure about that. He could be in line for a college offer. It'd be interesting. And keep in mind, if Mel Tucker from Michigan State leaves, that may be an interesting job. I have no idea what Vance wants to do, but I mean, I think you're right. He's guaranteed an offer. He may go both college and pros. So, I mean, he could go both ways here. Similar to Kyle, but yes, absolutely. And Denver is not using him right at all. He is not using him right at all. I respect Lovie for what he's done. His play calling isn't up with the times. Simple defensive scheme, but it's too simple. Part of it is that he doesn't have the right players. He needs more help on that front seven. And this year's, if he stays and they say, hey, you know what, we're going to go with Tyrod Taylor, we're going to go with Davis Mills, and we'll give you about 2 to 3 new players on defense in the draft, then wait, because like the players that you have right now aren't really a great fit, except for Blacklock. I mean, that's a good fit. And some of your secondary, but the rest of the front seven needs kind of an overhaul. Give him a few new players and see how it works. Case in point, Tony Dungy's defense in Tampa Bay didn't really work out, and all of a sudden he gets Warren Sapp and Derek Brooks, and like, oh wow, it's a great defense. The one negative about the Tampa 2 defense is it only works. It only works if you have a Hall of Fame caliber defensive lineman. You have to have a Hall of Fame, not Pro Bowl, a Hall of Fame caliber defensive lineman. All right. Minnesota in 98, when they went 15-1, they had John Randall. When he got injured in the NFC Championship game, and the Falcons were able to move the ball up and down the field. With John Randall, they win that game. About 15 different things happen, and the 98 Vikings go to the Super Bowl, probably win. You have to have a Hall of Fame caliber defensive lineman, and that's why Thibodeau, you put in Thibodeau, it changes. But yeah, that's the one negative. If you have some good players on that defensive front, like Blacklock, but you don't have a Hall of Famer, it's not good defense. It only works if you have a Hall of Fame caliber defensive lineman. Thibodeau could be that guy. I think he's that good. He comes in, he plays 17 games, he has double digits in sacks. So Iowa had them good tight ends, Kittles, and Iowa's been like Iowa's a tight end university right now. They got a guy right now who's really good. There was a stretch where they had like NFL caliber tight ends for a long time. It was at 8 Bud, and you can argue it was a reach, but he is a stud, and you would be wrong. And remember, the important part is you get the right guy, and Hawk has outperformed Ed Oliver, who everyone liked. I did not like Oliver, but yeah, he has outproduced Oliver easily. I remember people calling him Aaron. Yeah, I did too. Amazement. So was that. Yeah, there's been a slew of tight ends that have just played awesome in Iowa. I think they got a guy right now who's an NFL caliber tight end. So Clark too. Yeah, absolutely, you did. Him and Harrison were the Peyton guys. Yeah, it's kind of like Hamilton would be the better fit. Yeah. Actually, yes, he would be. It's just that if you have an elite pass rusher, you can't pass it up. That's really why I could see Detroit at 1. Let's just say Detroit's at 1 and Houston's at 2. I could say Houston saying, what do you want? A third, a fourth, a fifth, like a third and a fifth. And it may not be like the exact value that you would see on the NFL draft chart, because the pick pick number 1's 3,000 points. Pick number 2 is 2,500, and 500 is like a late first round pick. You're probably not getting 2 number 1s to go from 2 to 1, but you may get a pick. You may have Houston. Houston may have like 7 first round picks. I mean, Houston's going to have a lot of picks. So bottom line, Houston may say, look, we really want Thibodeau. We don't want you to trade. And if Detroit's smart, Detroit's like, we're going to listen to everything. And then Houston's like, look, what do you want? And more than likely, probably settle. Let's just say a third, maybe a second. Who knows? Remember, I remember Chicago went from 3 to 2. Didn't they give up like a number 3? What was that? Number 2 and a number 3 is like a number 3 this year, 2 next year. Remember they drafted Mitchell Trubisky. They gave up, I want to say, a second and a third. I mean, I could see something like that. I could say Houston saying, look, we want Thibodeau, we'll just flip-flop with us. But, yeah, I do. In Detroit, I think Hamilton would be the better fit, to be honest. Yeah. Funk's talking about that 98 Vikings. Yes, that offense was so fun. That offense was fantastic. I still can't figure out the AFC conference. Why don't you give it a try later on in stream? I'm going to tell you this right now. Kansas City's defense if Kansas City's defense comes alive, we also get CEH is activated off the PUP list. I mean, they've won the AFC the last 2 years, so just watch out. I mean, Chiefs get healthy and get hot. I mean, there's so many teams. There's 9 teams with 5 wins. So yeah. I wanted to take Lions plus 10 over the Steelers so badly, but they burned me so much. You know what? Let's start with the breaking down the games. I'm going to go in my order, but I got all your picks, Amazement, and I will make sure I go over all your games in a little more detail for you. I'm going to start off Jacksonville traveling Indianapolis. Indianapolis is a 10.5 point home favorite. Over under is 47.5. I like the under in this game, and I like Jacksonville to cover. I think it's a fluke win, but I think Indianapolis is going to kind of change gears, and I think what they're going to do is just ride Jonathan Taylor. I think they realize that in order to get to the playoffs, they just need to play ground and pound and not overexpose their quarterback who's been prone to making mistakes. I mean, right now I can argue Jonathan Taylor with Derrick Henry being out, the best running back in football. Just run the ball, play good defense. Very simple and basic football. Indianapolis, I see winning at home. I don't see them covering 10.5. I am not touching this game. Whatever the prop is on Jonathan Taylor, I may very well get it unless it's like over 110. So Homeland, who had an emergency threesome last week and had to leave the show, he would be excited about this one. Cleveland travels to New England. New England's a 2.5 point favorite. The over-under is 45. I have not checked the weather report. I actually like the over if the weather is good. I like the Patriots. I don't love them. I want to check out the injury report. It's funny because I just got done gushing how much I love Jonathan Taylor, but Nick Chubb, when he's healthy behind that offensive line, is as good as anybody. He could have a massive day against New England. I'm actually very, very excited to watch this game because the winner is going to be in really, really, really good position. So that's really going to be a fun game. Alex brings up, I want to keep Roy Lopez, Greenyard, Blacklock, and Reader. Don't be surprised if that happens, man. I think you're seeing a massive turnover this year. So you could have 10. Ooh, that's tempting. Isn't Big Ben out? I didn't think so. But I don't know. I don't know. So you have to tell me. Yeah, you guys have to tell me. I didn't think he was. Also, Collins is great at rushing, getting to the quarterback. He gets too many penalties on him. I mean, I'm telling you right now, you're a massive overhaul. We're going to talk a lot of draft stuff, and we will talk a lot about coaches. I do a Black Monday show. So if Coley ends up not being the guy, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about good fits. So I would like to see him get another chance, to be perfectly honest. So exactly, we got pressure with 4, Saps, Rice, Booger, McFarland, etc. Whole D had a high IQ too. Weak spot on defense to me was the seams and the space between the corner and the safety. Yes, and part of that's by design. And part of that was you had great safeties, but I think Dexter Jackson, who ended up being MVP, he was like the weak link on your team. So, yeah. John Lynch, Rondé Barber. Luke has been hitting at Hamilton. Yeah. I got that. I did forget about Rondé Barber. Titans Logic. No, I have not. They are coming up very soon, though. We are going to talk about them. So, yes, and I know you're heartbroken with the Bills' loss. So, man, are the Titans best team in the AFC? I mean, you have to tell me. Next, Atlanta is a 10-point dog traveling to Dallas to over-under is 54.5. I like Atlanta to cover. I could see Dallas winning a close game. I could also see Atlanta winning this game. Atlanta's been playing hot. I mean, the defense is getting better every week under Dean Pease. They're figuring out how to play. They went from that cover 3 Dan Quinn system, who's now the defensive coordinator in Dallas, to a very complex 3-4 multifaceted scheme. And every week they get better. Kyle Pitts is starting to turn it up. Matt Ryan's a Hall of Fame quarterback. This is a game that I'm really, really, really looking forward to watching. It would not surprise me if Atlanta won at all. It would not surprise me at all if Atlanta won. I like them to cover. I am not touching this game. Next, Buffalo plays the Mike White-led Jets. The Bills are a 13-point favorite. Over-under is 47. I love the over on this game. And the reason why I say that is I think the Bills could be coming out for revenge. I think the Jets may just come out firing and say, damn the torpedoes, and we could end up with a surprising shootout. We could also come out with another 7-9 score. I mean, you really don't know. Bills probably cover 13, but of course I like them to cover 14.5. So, that's kind of what I look at. The Saints next are traveling to Tennessee. Tennessee is a 3-point favorite. Over-under is 44. This is going to be a very, very good game because I like what the Saints are doing. I like that they just, kind of embrace their run-first attitude. Ingram and Kamara were very, very tight. I think it's a phenomenal 1-2 punch. It really works. You also got Trevor Simmons, who's not terrible, but you have some film on him. You know what to expect. The Saints Falcons rivalry, one of the best in all of sports, one of the most underrated rivalry in all sports. Tennessee, they won against the Rams. Do they come back down to earth? Do they still play? This is going to be very, very interesting. Right now, today, this very moment, I think Tennessee's the best team in the AFC. I would have said it was the Bills, but Tennessee is probably the best team in the AFC, even without Derrick Henry. And the reason why is that defense has come to life. Here's the thing: if the Tennessee Titans, if they play good defense, even without Derrick Henry, they're still a solid team. I still think they're the best team in the AFC. Keep in mind, Kansas City gets full force. Watch out. But as of today, I think Tennessee wins this game, and I think they're the best team in the AFC. So, yeah, I'm getting started. Titans, please beat the Aints for me. I'm rooting for you guys hard this week. Black Monday fires Nagy, Zimmer, Flores, Judge. Somebody else from Dallas. I actually think somebody gets fired before the season ends, and we have a lot of football still left to go. So, we'll have to find out. But I could see several of these coaches being gone. So yeah. Are you talking Dallas, Mike McCarthy, or might missing somebody? Big Ben missed the last 2 practices because of his right shoulder and chest. He always does. I would be shocked if he didn't play. So, like I said last week, Bills run in their division. It's theirs to lose. I think the Bills squeak it out, but can't go far in the playoffs. Maybe win one game or so inconsistent week to week. That's a big deal. Is that they for a while they were playing phenomenal, but after laying that egg, now keep Miles off of a bye, and some teams don't handle a bye week very well. It sounds like Buffalo didn't, so that's something to kind of watch out for, because if they do get the 1 seed and they get a bye, it'll be very interesting to see what they do. What you said about their inconsistency is important, because do you want to bank on them in the playoffs? Do you want them not to bank in the playoffs? Let me ask you this. They play Kansas City in the playoffs. You play a pissed off, healthy Chiefs team. Do you like Kansas City, or do you say, hey, the Bills won by 17? It's very interesting. They looked like they were the better team than Tennessee, but they couldn't win. I mean, granted, it was in Tennessee. It's a 1-game lead. They still have to play New England again. It's just the AFC is just entertaining. I think the best football is in the NFC, but the AFC is so entertaining. It's wide open. I can make a strong case for 7 different teams being the best team in the AFC, including the Pittsburgh Steelers, which looked awful. So, Flores may have saved his job last night, but he still may get canned. Absolutely. You have to see how he improves, how he's handled the quarterback situation. Remember all that tank for Tua talk? Now everybody wants to get rid of the guy 1 year later. It's going to be really, really questionable what goes on. So that's an interesting team, because whoever comes into Miami, are you planning on is a coach coming into Miami? Let's say Flores gets canned. Are you bringing in a head coach saying, hey, Deshaun Watson's your quarterback? Or are you going into the season saying Tua is your quarterback? Because if you're going with Tua, do you need an offensive-minded coach who doesn't worry about the defense? Or if you have Deshaun Watson, you want to bring in a defensive-minded coach to fix that defense? Normally, because Flores is a defensive guy, you want to go with an offensive guy. The next time around, you may want to go with Eric Bieniemy or the offensive coordinator out of Tampa Bay. I'm drawing a blank on his name right now. The former Marshall quarterback. He played in Jacksonville, Pittsburgh, and a few other places. Byron Leftwich. You may want to bring in a guy like that. Lot of football left. I mean, you have to understand, Miami goes on like a 5-2 run, then he's there. So, I mean, a lot of football. Kamara might be out. The relationship that Carroll has with the ownership, he's not on the hot seat. I don't know, Alex. Pats are hot right now. Bills' offense has some leaks in it, especially that O-line. Hey, got a lot of football left. Let's go Saints. So you got the Titans -3. I like that. Dallas, Atlanta, over 54. I got 54.5. Both teams have been playing better defense, to tell you the truth. That one might be a low scoring. I'll be honest. I think I would go under, to be perfectly honest with you. But the Titans -3, I do like that. But be warned. The Saints are a dangerous team. But if you have a chance if Kamara is out, that's a big deal. So if you get 3, that's a really, really good number. Next game on the list is Tampa Bay traveling to Washington. Tampa Bay's a 10-point favorite. I got 51 as the over/under. Amazement has 54. You like the over. Golly. Here's the problem is that I think Tampa Bay scores about 30. Where do you get the other 24? Is Washington going to do it? 50. It's 51 on my bookie. By the way, the link's below if you want to give it a shot. If you want to take 51, if you're convinced it's going to be a shootout. I don't see Washington putting up a lot of points in this one. So if you're dead set on it being a shootout, you might want to take Tampa and 10. So I'm passing on that one. I don't like the over on that one because I have no idea if Washington can put up that many points. So Black Monday might be a blood. Yeah, it could be. Black Monday could be an absolute bloodbath. It seriously, honestly, it could be 3. It could be 9. But we'll just have to wait and see. But I think there's some interesting coaches in the college ranks. Is this the year Lincoln Riley wants to turn pro? Mel Tucker, he may get some interest. Trying to think of anybody else off the top of my head. I just know those two, just off the top of my head, are interesting candidates. A dark horse, which I don't see at all, would be Lane Kiffin, who has some NFL experience. So we'll have to find out. So, but yeah, I do a Black Monday video. So what I'll probably do is stay up all night Sunday, try to get that information to you. So I may release it Tuesday. We'll have to wait and see. But I do a Black Monday video. So. Even with New England having a hot streak, I just think the Bills keep it somewhat consistent and win out. If you put a gun to my head, I say the Bills win that division. The Jacksonville game was a fluke. It also gave them, hey, look, we're not as good as we think we are. We got New England on heels. With New England, the thing that scares me about New England is Mac Jones plays better every single week. And that defense is really good. And just going to get better because there's so much youth on it. There's a ton of youth on that defense, and they're playing better. The thing that scares me about New England is they keep playing better, and the Bills kind of bounce them all around. So, but it's just fun. But do I think the Bills win the division? Yes, I do. I wouldn't touch Buffalo in the playoffs at all. They just don't have it, in my opinion. I would take them to scrape out the division. Yeah, I'm with you, Alex. Yeah. I'm with you 100%. The Finns were playing in the Engage 8 Blitz on. They really were. It was fun to watch. It was so fun to watch. Alex is going to give some predictions. Absolutely, man. I'm thinking Washington gets garbage time points and maybe a lucky team. Hey, man, good luck, man. Absolutely. Next game on my list is Detroit is traveling to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is a 9-point favorite. The over-under is 42.5. I have not checked the weather report, but I like the under in this game. I'm hoping Pittsburgh covers. I have no idea how Detroit's going to respond off of a bye. You could get a week where they come up with some trick plays. Pittsburgh's offense is painful to watch. But if they get the running game going, you really can't stop them, to be honest. The defense is lights out. Maybe the best defense in football, to be perfectly honest. Phenomenal defense. If it's high wind, I'm definitely leaning towards under. I could see Detroit playing close after a bye. I really don't know about this one, to be perfectly honest, but I'm pulling for Pittsburgh this week because they are very close to covering 8.5 wins for the year. I got a grand on it. So I do. By the way, for you Lions fans are on the show who watch, I can't thank you guys enough, and I love your support. I tell people, it's like, man, I got some Lions fans. They're always in the show. They're phenomenal. Not only are they smart, they're loyal football fans. So I pull for you guys, but not this week. I really need Pittsburgh to win. I got grand on it. I got them winning Thanksgiving. All right. You're going to beat Bears on Thanksgiving. How about my Jags? It was a great win. Josh Allen is amazing. I love Josh Allen when he was coming out of Kentucky. I remember that bowl game. It was Josh Allen's last game. They had the running back. He's now with Pittsburgh. I'm drawing a blank on his name. Both those players stood out because Penn State had a much better team, but Josh Allen had 3 sacks in that game, looked like a man among boys, really looked like a 3-4 outside linebacker, and then Jacksonville wanted to put him as defensive end. He bulked up, and then with the new defense that's coming in from the Ravens linebacker coach, I can't think of his name, but now they're running a 3-4, and it's a perfect defense. I have no idea how Kavion Chasen is playing, but Jackson. Here's the thing: Jacksonville could be on the way up because I like the defensive scheme, but you have a rookie coordinator with a rookie head coach, and so I kind of thought there would be some struggles, but Josh Allen's a centerpiece type player. I mean, this is a guy who's got massive upside. And in this defense, if they keep the same defense, I could see him be like a defensive MVP candidate next year. And then Chasen, does he ramp it up and become a solid number 2 pass rusher? This is a great defense to get an outside linebacker early. A guy like Hutchinson, would he be able to play that role? Do you like the guy out of Purdue? I can't think of his name off the top of my head. Corey the Red Sea said that he thought there was like 9 edge rushers that could go in the first round. So, and then keep in mind, you also get Travis Etienne back. If he recovers from that foot injury, he transforms the offense. So, and listen, next year the Jags are going to be a very interesting team. It's also going to be very interesting to see what they do in the draft. All the Lions fans are talking about Hamilton and Detroit. What about Hamilton and Jacksonville? That is actually a much better fit. Hamilton and Jacksonville makes a ton of sense, and he allows. That's exactly what Urban Meyer wants is a Hamilton type player in that secondary, a guy that can do a variety of different things. So, Yeah. Hey, man, you got a lot to be happy about if you're a Jags fan. I mean, this is a team I could see getting hot and spoiling a lot of people's playoff hopes in the next couple of weeks. I'm definitely seeing 4 coaches canned. It's still too soon to tell. Still too soon. I don't think so, but if he goes winless, it's definitely a possibility. I think it's more of a possibility than Lions fans want to admit, and I know that he's really liked there in Detroit, but I would say as of right now, less than 10% chance, but it's on the radar. I mean, if he goes 0-17, you got to take a look, so. I got New Orleans over Tennessee. Wow. Bills over Jets. Pitts over Detroit. Colts over Jags. Wow. Washington over Tampa. Browns over Pats. Dallas over Atlanta. Hurts to say. Got Dallas again, huh? Cards over Carolina. All right. Can't be a trap game, Alex. We play the Giants next week. If it was a bigger game, then maybe, but we face Heineke already. He won't shock us like he did in the playoffs last year. I disagree. I think it's definitely a trap game. I think it's one that you could easily overlook. But after losing to the Saints, I think you'll be ready. I really think you'll be ready. Chargers over Vikings, which is the next game I got. I do agree. Packers over Seattle, all on Rodgers. If Russell Wilson plays, I like Seattle. Broncos over Philly, Chiefs over Vegas, and Rams take care of the Niners. Okay. I think the football team are able to get one out. Going to be a weird game, though. I would be shocked. I'm going to continue with my picks here. I got Minnesota traveling to LA. Chargers are a 3-point favorite. I like Minnesota. I like Minnesota to win outright. I know Zimmer's on the hot seat, usually responds well to pressure. I've been saying for a long time, I think Chargers going to fall apart. The lack of a running game, the young quarterback, even though Herbert's playing lights out. I like the Vikings in this one. Maybe my Chiefs bias is coming out. But yeah, I do like the Vikings in this one. I think Vikings really need this one, and they usually play well when their backs are against the wall. Not betting on it, but I do like the Vikings. Carolina is a 10.5-point dog traveling to Arizona. Corey the Red Sea said that he would bet his life savings on Carolina to cover 10.5. Could be a trap game, but I like Arizona to win. Over under is 44, and I actually like the under in this game, and I might put action on Carolina. It's just that there's so many things goofy with this game that I'm going to pass, but it's a weird one. Seattle's a 3.5-point dog traveling to Green Bay. If Russell Wilson's the quarterback, I like Seattle to win. I know he's back at practice. I have no idea if he's playing, but both him and Dwayne Eskridge have been activated. So I like Seattle if Wilson's playing. If not, Aaron Rodgers will lead Green Bay back to a victory. But hopefully, I can get Russell Wilson in the win. I want, when I find out. If I find out Russell Wilson's available, I'll take Seattle in 3.5. So, next game is Philly traveling to Denver. Philly is a 2.5-point dog traveling to Denver. I like Denver in this one, and I'll tell you why. What they did is they replaced Von Miller with a third-round draft pick Baron Browning, who played inside linebacker for Ohio State. I didn't think he was an outside linebacker type of player. He had a sack and several players. And this guy's a Michael Parsons type of athlete. I mean, he's a 245-pound linebacker who can run like a wide receiver. It's just that if you look at Baron Browning's highlight reel, he looks like he's a top 5 player, but then he has games where he totally disappears. And that's why he lasted to the third round. But he's an A-plus athlete, and Vic Fangio found a way to put him in the right position to succeed. Having him replace Von Miller almost is an increase in position. And I feel like I'm saying the goofiest thing in the world, that a third-round rookie is better than Von Miller, but what I saw against Dallas, Baron Browning played better than Von Miller. Von Miller was not the same guy. He was still bothered by the ankle injury. He wasn't the same guy who's maybe the best defensive player in the AFC West. He wasn't that guy. That's why I thought long-term it's good for Denver. You know, be a second and a third rounder when they need some help, especially at the quarterback position where Bridgewater's not the answer. I mean, not long-term anyway. Getting rid of a guy like Von Miller, it makes a lot of sense for the Rams, because here's a guy who just doesn't have to be the focal point of defense. He just helps out. And that's what the Rams need. So it's good for the Rams because they're going all in trying to win the Super Bowl. And it's really good for Denver, who is just trying to get a future together, because there's no doubt that they have the worst quarterback in the AFC West. No doubt. But they have a good defense without Miller. So, yeah, I actually like Denver in this one. Less than 3. Oh, yeah. I like it. I'm more concerned with the Giants game than Washington games. Strange things always seem to happen whenever we play the Giants past 3 games. And the Giants are a team that actually looked really good in Kansas City. A lot of people thought Kansas City laid an egg. It really wasn't. It's just that they just played a good game, and then they played well last. They played well last week. So the Giants are a team that last year they started off 0-5, finished 6-10. This just seems to be kind of a weird trend. Joe Judge is on hot seat. He may get the team turned around. So we'll have to find out what goes on there. But yeah, I could see that happening. The Giants, I think, are a team that is starting to play a lot better. And we'll have to see what happens. Let's see what happens. I think 0-27 Campbell is gone. Thanksgiving 22. They need to they are capable of winning 7 games. Okay. Here's the deal. 2022 is going to be a completely different Lions team. You have a lot of different player personnel. And that's what's going to happen. So I really like the fact that you're going to have a lot of different personnel, and then what I want to see what Campbell can do. You need to win probably 7 games next year in order for Campbell to stick around, because if they have 2 seasons where they win 5 games total, then yeah, he's going to be gone. But take a look at Cincinnati. Okay. Zach, I think it's Zach Walker. I can't remember the guy's name. Zach Walker, Zach Wilson, whatever. First 2 years won 6 games, and they gave him a third year. And then, for a while, remember the Bengals fan was on here saying it's their year, 5-2, best team in the NFL. I mean, he's not here anymore, but you remember that guy a couple weeks ago? It's the Bengals year. Remember that guy? So that's kind of what I could see with the Lions. Like, remember his first year, he won 2 games, and then he gets his quarterback, and then they win 4 games, and then they get Jamar Chase, and now they're in contention for a playoff spot. I kind of see the same type of blueprint for the Detroit Lions, except it may come a lot sooner. It may come a lot sooner. So, but yeah, I agree with that. Me too, Dan. Wouldn't surprise me if the Vikings won. Minnesota jumps on them early. They can pound the ball with Cooks. That's Chargers stink. Yeah, absolutely. Carolina needs to start PJ Walker, and if they don't, they're going to lose Walker. Yeah, Walker's starting. Walker's starting. They signed Cam Newton, which I'm actually kind of excited to see. I'm actually very excited to see Cam Newton start. It'll be a lot of fun, in my opinion. But I think Walker's going to start. I don't even know if Newton's going to play, but Newton may get a chance. But I was really impressed. You turned me on to the guy, and since you brought him up, every time I watch him play, I've been impressed. I don't know if he's a starting caliber quarterback. I don't know that. I know you think he is. I don't know that. I am going to watch him play, but I'm not sure he's a starting caliber quarterback. If he is, then Carolina has a very interesting decision, because do they move on from Darnold? Do they start PJ Walker? I mean, there's so many different things going on. So. Speaking of Madden, I just made some guy. I don't play Madden anymore. Even though the Rams just signed OBJ, actually they don't. They have one of the better offensive lines in football. Their left tackle after the season is going to retire. He is 64 years old. But no, they have one of the better offensive lines in football. So no, they're in good shape. They're in good shape. Man, the Rams better win because they have literally no cap space at all. Reminds me how the Saints went all in and wasn't kept. Yeah. Not only do they have no cap space, they don't draft till the 4th round in 2024. They have almost no draft picks, no cap space. Yeah, they have to restructure. Like they literally have to restructure everybody's contract next year, or they're gonna have to cut 3 or 4 star players. I mean, if I remember right, I think there's something like $25 million over the projected 2022 cap already, and that's without signing anybody. So they're going to lose a player or two in free agency. So it'll be interesting what goes on with the Rams this season. I will make a video. I do all 32 teams. So even though the Rams don't really have a draft pick, I will do a video on the Rams, and I'll talk about them in the draft. Even though they don't really have even though they're not going to be drafting anybody. I think the soonest they pick's the 4th round. So how I can laugh again at Marshall from Chicago for walking 12 yards and bombing his former coach after celebrating with his team for the big play. I actually don't remember that, but I remember Brandon Marshall in Chicago did a bunch of crazy stuff. I remember this, though, is that I remember Brandon Marshall with Denver was one of the best players I've ever seen. When he got traded to Denver, I was like, thank God. He had it wasn't against Kansas City. I forget who it was. I want to say the Colts. He had a 20-catch game. He had several games against Kansas City that I thought he might have been the best receiver I've ever seen play. I mean, he was that good. I mean, he played at a level. I mean, all-time great, like Rice and Moss. I mean, he looked almost unstoppable. There was a couple games. Now, keep in mind, this was at the Kansas City Chiefs for a while had what was known as the 32 defense, which was like the worst. It was during Dick Vermeil era that they had some garbage defenses. But Brandon Marshall, there was a time Brandon Marshall looked like one of the best all-time players I've ever seen play. Yeah. I don't remember that play on Thanksgiving, though. I don't trust Stafford when lights are bright, neither. How do we know what this guy can do with all that pressure? He's never won big games against good winning teams. No, we don't know. And it's an unknown factor. I think they're in better shape with Stafford than they are with Goff. But no, there's no proof. There's no proof that Goff will shine during the playoffs. I mean, same thing with Lamar Jackson. When he's been in the playoffs, he's played horribly. Part of that has to do with play calling, which some coaching, but he's also had some garbage games. Bottom line, Stafford's an unknown in the playoffs. He's, I think, 0-3 in Detroit. So yeah. I'm gonna laugh anyway. I'm an imp. There's an emphasis on taunting you. All right. He was a leader in the comeback wins, but Titans might have exposed him. I'm not sure you're talking about. Sorry. The Rams. Okay, you're talking about Stafford. I don't think so. I think I honestly I think Titans just had a really good defense. We'll have to wait and see. I told you last year the Rams are ride and die. Right now, they are in Super Bowl or bust mode at the moment and think they have a good chance. Absolutely. 100%, Alex. 100% agree. Absolutely. I mean, I thought that before OBJ and before Von Miller, but that just kind of proves it. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. I mean, you gave up 2 number ones and the number 1 quarterback in Jared Goff to go get Stafford. They're in, I mean, seriously, they have, I think it's like 25 million over the cap already. And that's, they have to get crazy and get creative. So it's going to be entertaining. I mean, the NFC is going to be entertaining. It's great playoffs. You got the Rams that went all in. Tampa Bay's actually better this year than they were last year when they won the Super Bowl. You still got Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers and a good defense. They can beat anybody. Dallas could win 14 or 15 games. And then Arizona, a lot of people don't think Arizona is a Super Bowl caliber team, but they got the best record and they also beat the Rams by 17 points. So, God, the NFC is a lot of fun. The NFC, this is just a great year for football. I'm glad to get to share this and I'm glad that you guys enjoy it too. So, God, my throat's killing me. Excuse me. I'm losing my voice. Excuse me. I know it's bad TV. It's just my voice is fading fast. Amazement that oh man. All right, amazement. This is the place Stafford need to go improve. He has that factor or not. In Detroit, he only had one decent shot of proving it, and the Dallas game was rough. I do remember that game. Yeah, no playoff wins. 0-3 if I remember right. Well, he's got his chance because he's on a loaded team. He's going to have a ton of pressure. Yeah, absolutely. Marshall, the guy who was cut by Pittsburgh and picked up by the Bears, just got hip checked. But okay, you're talking. Yeah. I remember watching it live, and he didn't get called for bumping into the ref. He got called because he said something. I don't know. I think it's kind of lame when people point blame at the refs and like this bad officiating. I don't like doing that. I think the NFL, out of all the major sports teams, have phenomenal officials. They do a lot of work. I mean, you have to realize referees make like 99.7% of the calls that are correct. I mean, they do a great job in the NFL, and then something like this gets kind of blown out of proportion. As somebody who needs Pittsburgh to win over 8.5 games, I loved it. So, yeah. Stafford has very little playoff experience as well. Yeah, he's 0-3, if I'm correct. Yeah, so he's like 8-7. Mike, Detroit sucked. It's funny everyone says Stafford's fault, but overlook holding by the linebacker Levy on third down on Dallas game-winning drive, and people always forget. At midfield, at an 0-1 scored game, the Lions had 4th and inches and punted a 7-yarder. It led to a drive that Levy had a holding call on. I did forget that. So I'm talking about the Rams that got exposed. I think, they could have got exposed. It could just be that the Titans are really, really good. I mean, the Titans are really, really good. Jeffrey Simmons, a lot of people don't know this. This guy would have been a top 5 pick. He tore his ACL. The Titans got him, I think, at like 19 or 20. They picked up the corner from Caleb Farley from Virginia Tech, who has all the athleticism in the world. He had surgery before the combine. He would have been like a top 10 pick, but he ended up going later in the first round. Harold Landry's a guy I've always had a man crush on. He just needs some help on the other side. Bud Dupree's not playing bad. When they lost Dean Pease last year, the defense just plummeted, and I don't know who's taken over as defensive coordinator, if Mike Vrabel's taken over, but give a lot of credit to the Tennessee Titans. I mean, they lose their best player in Derrick Henry, and instead of just falling apart, they beat one of the top teams in the NFL. The Rams might have gotten exposed, but I think they just went against a really good team and just lost. They're 7-2. I mean, that's not bad. So, yeah. Alex says the crack is kicking in, but he knows, and you guys know, I am not on drugs. I am over 71% sure I am not on drugs. Come on, Dan, tough it out. Don't go. I'm going to try to tough it out. It just, my throat's just fading fast. All those energy drinks are doing their toll on day. I'm drinking coffee. You know what? I almost had an energy drink today. I almost had an energy drink for this show, but I'm going with coffee, and I'm not on drugs. My throat is fading fast. I hate how the refs can decide who's taunting because on what they feel. How do you determine who wins based on how you feel? I know that college football, after the season's over with, they're gonna review the targeting hits, and it's hard. I get it, but here's the thing: the referees in the NFL do a phenomenal job. They do a phenomenal job, and by the way, as an NFL player, every single coach has told players, don't put it into the referee's hands. Don't do something questionable. And you watch a game, there's always a game, they kind of push the limits. And I get it. Testosterone's going, you're playing a physical game. Of course, you want to go ahead and give it your all, but you're also taught to play smart. Seriously, okay, in that play, why didn't he just go back? He didn't need to say anything to that guy. There's no point. So. Dan, understand the white powder you replaced your sugar with tastes better with your coffee, but yeah, they expose them by showing you if everyone on the defensive line wins, you can throw off the Rams game plan. I caught it. The ref said he felt like he was showing him up. They don't understand the hard guys work to make plays. How do you expect them to act robotic when making a huge play? Okay. I'll disagree with you because the referees do know this. There's a lot of training and a lot of work that referees go through in order to get to the NFL. It's not you just don't arrive as a coach. You got to work your way up through the ranks. Like to get to a major college, you got to coach like either in high school ranks or in the junior college ranks, and then you get graded. You got referees are yelling at you all the time. I mean, it's an extensive process to be an NFL referee. And you got to realize in that game, 99.7% of the calls that group makes is correct. Maybe, there's a lot of flags in that game, but they do a great job. Matter of fact, you want to see something about the NFL referees. There's a famous football play called the Holy Roller. Ken Stabler was quarterback of the Oakland Raiders. They were playing at the time the San Diego Chargers, and it was just your normal boring game. But the last play of the game, the Raiders were, I think, on like the 10-yard line, and Stabler was going to get sacked, and he couldn't figure out what to do. So he just threw the ball forward, and Dave Casper kicked the ball forward, and it rolled through. Well, it turned out to be the referee who made the call. It was his very first game as an NFL official, and he's like, it was easy, it was one of the easiest games I ever played. And then that call comes, and I kind of looked around, and the referees on the other side were doing this number, so I just called touchdown and hope that got it right. The NFL's gone a long way from the 1970s, but I mean, the NFL has done a very good job with refereeing. So I disagree with that statement. They actually do know they have to go through extensive training. A lot of referees are actually former coaches, high school, college players that don't have the opportunity. There was actually a former player who became an NFL official, but I can't remember who it is. So no, they know. They know. There's a lot of talk. If you watch, you can see they hear players talking all the time. So I disagree with that. Yeah, that's true. It's almost like you have to win comfortably, so you can't. Exactly. And every coach preaches to every player. So Marshall's cutting Pitt this preseason. This was his first play time in Chicago. He makes the play on the side, hash marks, and celebrates with the team that walks over and stares down as far. Okay. That I didn't know. I didn't know Funk. Dude was taunting all day. He went over there to show the guy that they let go and made a play of his game. I didn't know that. In the description below, I did a video for the Blitz Predicts, and these two games I actually have action on. I'm going to go with Monday Night Football first, and that's the Los Angeles Rams are at the San Francisco 49ers. The Rams are a 4-point favorite traveling to San Francisco, and I like the Rams a lot. The over-under is 49. I actually think this will be under. I think it'll be a relatively low-scoring game. If you watch the video I did for the Blitz Predicts, I predicted a 27-15 game. I think the 49ers are really kind of in a panic mode here. I think that they're kind of looking towards next season. They're banged up. They don't really have faith in Garoppolo. He's not playing bad, but if you watch the team, you can kind of get the impression that they know they're not going to compete and go to the playoffs this year. They're kind of ready to go next year, and the Rams are definitely all in. So I think that they definitely cover 4 points, and the Blitz agrees, and we made a video. I haven't put action on anything yet, but I do like the Rams here in this one. And the final game I'm going to bring up, and this is going to be a complete shock to everybody, and I know Funk agrees with me here. The Kansas City Chiefs are a 2.5-point favorite at Vegas, and me and Funk and everybody else loves the Chiefs here. Bottom line, the Chiefs look like they're hitting their stride. When the biggest concern about the Kansas City Chiefs is you have to worry about the quarterback, then you're doing okay. But this is going to be a fun game on Sunday night. Not just being a Chiefs fan, you got 2 5-win teams in a division with. Don't get me wrong. I think Denver's going to win, and the Chargers. They got a tough one, but the Chargers and the Broncos are at home, so more than likely one of those teams are going to win. So. It's going to be a great game. And if the Raiders win, The Raiders are 5-3 because they had a bye. The other three teams are 5-4. So if the Raiders win, it's like a 1.5 game advantage in the AFC West. Of course, if both Denver and the Chargers lose, then the Raiders really are in good shape. But if Kansas City wins that game, it's Kansas City goes to 6-3, and it's going as a Chiefs fan, it's going to be a lot of fun. But it's going to be a great game. But I do like Kansas City to cover 2.5. The two bets I'm going to make are Kansas City to cover 2.5 and the Rams to cover 4. Some places are going Rams at 3.5, and I really was hoping, because it's in Vegas, I was really hoping there'd be a lot of hometown. I thought there'd be a lot of hometown action. I really thought I'd get 2, but it doesn't look like it's possible. But I do like 2.5. So yeah, man, you're crushing your Niners. Well, I made 3 big bets. The Niners one, I knew about. I preached this for months to take the Niners under 10, and when I arrived in Vegas, it was actually at 10.5. But after so I got there Sunday. And then Monday, I went to place my bets, and the line went from 10.5 to 10. So I went ahead and took 10. So I got Steelers over 8.5 and Seattle over 10. Seattle over 10 does not look good. But, oh, man, please, Pittsburgh cover 8.5, because the 2 out of those 3 hit. Let's just say Pittsburgh and San Francisco hits. I hit everything. So, yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. Amazement. I totally agree. I've been messing with Bears fans. I'm always telling them you can hate the rule like I do, but shouldn't blame the guy enforcing it. That I do agree. And Funk says the Raiders are going to lose. Funk's a reformed Raiders fan, now a big-time Chiefs fan. Hitting their stride, LOL. If Rodgers plays that game, the Chiefs lose that game easily. Got to support your team, though, Dan. Okay. Actually, I disagree, and I'll tell you why. Against Green Bay was the second time that Clark and Jones have been healthy. And with the addition of Melvin Ingram, the defense is really transformed. But it's really just a case of getting healthy. Anthony Hitchens, our starting middle linebacker, they replaced him with an inside linebacker who's a rookie. And even though he's played well, the combination of being a rookie and calling the defensive formation has been kind of challenging. The Chiefs getting healthy on defense means a lot. And also, we signed Jared Reed to a $8 million 1-year prove-it deal. We were expecting him to be a game changer. He's been a no-show. He has 0 sacks. So bringing in Ingram, we're going to move Jones more inside. Hitchens getting healthy with Willie Gay, who's a second-year player who's missed a lot of time, including missing 3 or 4 games earlier in the season. So Gay being healthy, Hitchens being healthy, Jones and Clark. Jones is our best defensive player, even though Big Chief Sean hates him, because this is a true story. Chris Jones stole Big Chief Sean's girlfriend, so Big Chief Sean hates him for that. So true story that I made up. So yeah, Chris Jones getting healthy. He's the Chiefs' best defensive player. Frank Clark, who's the best edge rusher on the team, missed the first couple of weeks. He gets healthy. So yeah, you have that. And, you can say that, but I could also look at defense. Defense played pretty well against the Giants too. So bottom line, you get a team that's healthy, you get a team that's hot. So I don't know. I don't know. I really don't. Do you think they ultimately win the AFC West? It's like a 4-way tie for a league. Actually, okay. All four AFC West teams have exactly 5 wins. The Raiders, because they had a bye, are 5-3. The other 3 teams are 5-4. Kansas City, I think, does win the West, and the reason why is you have the most talent and you have the best coach. Now, if you want to argue that the Chiefs don't have the most talent, you can argue that. You cannot argue that the Chiefs have the best coach. That's undisputed. I mean, you got an interim taking over for the Raiders. You got a first-time head coach who has almost no NFL experience. I mean, he could be a good coach, but I mean, he's still a rookie head coach who was only a defensive coordinator for 1 year in LA. good coach. Looks like he's going to be a good coach, but he's a rookie. And then Vic Fangio. I mean, maybe he's a better defensive mind than Andy Reid, but I think even the hardest core Denver Broncos fans not going to say Fangio is a better coach than Andy Reid. So talent you can dispute if you want. I don't think so. And if you look at the NFL's top 100 list, the Chiefs have more players than anybody, and they have more players in the top 10 than anybody. Now that's kind of not fair because they have only Kansas City and Green Bay have 2 players in the top 10, so it's kind of unfair. But I mean, so yeah, I think Kansas City runs away with this division. I mean, I think they win Sunday, and if the Raiders win, I'm going to come on Wednesday and take a lot of heat for it. But if Kansas City wins, I mean, they're really the team to beat. So. I just think it's funny. Every year they say there'll be an emphasis on this rule, and everyone gets all up in arms because a ref enforced it. Makes me. You are right, Funk. Every year there's usually a hot button, and then once it gets enforced, there's a lot of backlash. A lot of backlash. So yeah, you're all right. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up because I'm starting to lose my voice. It's not because I need to get more drugs, but I can't thank you enough for joining. I will have action on the Raiders and the Rams, even though I didn't place any of the bets yet. I say I'm going to avoid prop betting, but I'm going to take a look Saturday. I may or may not put a bet down. If you have any questions or any prop bets or any action on the games, you can always check me out. The danshow@yahoo.com. If you send me an email anytime Saturday, I will respond. But if you send me an email on Sunday, I will not get to it. I usually shut my phone off on Sundays, but I'll have my phone on Saturday very late because I'm going to probably watch some college football. So if you have any questions, you need some help on your fantasy team, it's got to be a pay-for league. You got to be able to make some money. And then if you have any questions on betting, go ahead and shoot me an email, and I will get back to you. I am going to have action on the Chiefs and the Rams. Any prop bets, I'm going to kind of wait and see, but I'm going to try to avoid it. So don't forget, give me a thumbs up. And hopefully everybody joins me on Wednesday. I believe Big Chief Sean will come back for a foursome. So Amazement, man, good luck this weekend, brother. Good luck this weekend. Don't forget, if you do need some help, man, go ahead and hit me up. I will respond Saturday. Peace out. What's Watts over under on sacks against the Lions? Hold on. You know what? That's a good one. I do want to answer that. Let me see if it may not be available. It may not be available. Shoot. Crap. That bet is not available. Normally you can bet on sacks. I'm not seeing that option though. Funk, I don't know if I follow you on social media or anywhere or not, but all my social media links are below, and you can always email me too. If it does come out, I will shoot you a message, but that's actually an excellent prop bet and one that I would be very interested in taking action on. It's actually a very smart one. I don't see it available. The Blitz Predicts uses Bovada, and I am going to put money in Bovada. I wasn't planning on doing it this weekend, but I was going to do it soon, and there might be an option there. So the Rams are covering. Let's go. I'm going to put action down on that Blitz. So, man, okay. Lions should trade for Carr. Ooh. That actually would be really interesting. I don't see the Raiders giving them up though. Decker is back, and so okay, that's very interesting. YouTube is the only okay. Do me a favor, Funk. If you shoot me an email, remind me Saturday, and I'll look it up, and I'll look it up on Bovada. And if there's good odds, I can shoot you an email if you want to put action on that one. So anyway, that's all I got. Everybody, listen, don't forget, give me a thumbs up. Have a great weekend. Hopefully everybody can join me back on Wednesday. Hopefully Big Chief Sean will join, and we'll have an awesome foursome for you on Wednesday. Have a great weekend, and I'll see everybody back hopefully Wednesday.